everyone, today I'm going to show you how I made this mesh duster. This one is for my daughter. It's super cute. I used the Lowland Kids Slim Cardigan pattern. It is a cardigan pattern, but if you add length to it, you can make it a duster. So follow along and you can either do the cardigan, the cardigan length or the duster length. I added about 5 inches to mine. You can add anywhere from 5 to 7 inches, I'd say, to get the duster length that you want. And I did adjust my sleeves, so I added a band here and I added a band to the actual duster. This is a little, this is a 3-inch size band, so it came out to about 1.5 inches, but if you want to make it shorter, you can do that. Everything is super customizable, but I just wanted to show you how I made this one, so keep on watching if you want to learn how. So I'm printing my pattern now, but I wanted to show you all how I select just one size. This is the Adobe Acrobat Reader DC. You can see that here. That's, if you Google that, you can download it for free. And then what you want to do is click over here on this little icon that has the layers. And then this is where I just selected the 18 and 24 size. You can also select any other sizes that you want to print. But I like to print one size at a time since I do have to make multiples usually. So I'm just printing the 18 to 24 size. And then I like to just scroll down and see which pages I'm going to need. For this one, I noticed right away that I don't need page 4 because I'm not doing any pockets. And then I just kept scrolling and I realized that after page 8, nothing is actually on there, like none of the pattern pieces are on there. So I made sure not to print any of those pages. And when you go to print out, you'll select print. And then this is where I put what pages I'm going to be printing. So for this size, I only needed pages 1, 2, and 3, and then pages 5 through 7. So that's how I write it out. And I make sure to select actual size here. And then print out my pattern, but I already printed it, so just wanted to give you all a little tip here. Here are the pattern pieces that I printed out, all cut. There is the front, the back, and the sleeve. The sleeve I took off about 1 inch because I'm going to be adding little bands. I'll show you how to cut out the arm bands in a little bit. But I also wanted to show you the cut pieces that I already pre-cut them. So here are my 2 sleeves cut on the fold of the fabric. The back, you're also going to cut on the fold of the fabric. But if you want to do duster length, I just added 5 inches. You can do 5 to 6 inches depending on how long you want it. But for my own personal preference, I like 5 inches. So it's not that much longer, but still a duster length. You could also add it to your actual pattern piece, but I make sure to do it once I'm cutting. And then a note about the front pieces is I did lay the pattern piece over and cut it out, but you also want to cut out here so they're not on the fold. They're just 2 pieces, one left and one right. So now let's go to the first step. So let me to show you all how I get my little bands. So I have my fabric already laid out, and this is about the length of my sleeve. So what I'm going to do is cut it out 2 inches. And then I'm going, sorry, I always run into my tripod. I'm going to chop it just a tiny bit smaller than the sleeve. So there's my band right there. Sorry, you can't see it. There's my band right there, and then I'm just going to lay it on top of here so that I can get another one exactly the same. And one for each sleeve. So there we have our 2 little bands. The first step is to open up your back piece. Sorry, this mesh is like sticking to each other, or sticking to itself. And you want to look at the front or the right side of your mesh. I know because the sparkly side is the front. And then you're going to take one of your front pieces and match it with the curve of the arm and match it up here. So you're matching these points right here. And that's what we're going to sew first. So do the same with the other side. And we're going to sew here and here. And I'm going to use a 1/4 seam allowance, 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to show you what I do on my serger. This is my Juki serger. I'm using it today because it has the all black thread. For this serger, I really like to make sure that everything, all the threads are really in the discs. Sorry, I always make my phone shake. My tripod is literally right in my face. Anyways, for mesh, I like to keep everything at all 4s. And sometimes I move my differential, this right here, to 0.7. I would do it 0.7 on my brother's serger, but this serger is a little fancier and it can handle the mesh. So we're going to do that. But if you have like really, really thin mesh, then you want to use, then you want to adjust your differential. But for this, I find that it has enough structure that my machine doesn't like freak out over it. So now, like I said, we're going to just sew the shoulders down, those 2 points. And sorry, I had to fix it up because it got messed up. Anyways, so just line it up, and I'm not going to cut anything off, and just go for it. And then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Find your, what is this called? I don't know what this is called, but find that and match it up. Okay. Sorry, my thing keeps shaking. It really bothers me, but I don't know how to stop it. Okay. Okay, so now that we got the shoulders done, we are going to add our sleeves. So what I want you to do is trim that. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and grab one sleeve, and you want to look at the right side of it. So this is my right side, and we are going to, let me prep this real quick. We're going to take the curve of our duster, so there's that curve. Remember I told you to match those curves, so now when you open it up, you have the full curve, and you're going to place your sleeve right in the center here and use a clip. So I'm going to take this that's still folded, I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to find a clip. Okay, there, I clipped it. And now what I'm going to do is take the start of the sleeve, which is down here. Again, this mesh likes to stick to itself, but here's the start of the sleeve, and we're going to put it at the start of the curve, and then just sew all along this curve. You might need to manipulate it so it fits in there, but if you've ever sewn a sleeve, it's the exact same way. And then I like to make sure that it's gonna get caught, especially with these little mesh layers. You want to make sure that you're catching both. Okay, I'm just going to keep going here. And match the other ends. Oops. I literally just cut it. That's my bad. Anyways. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other sleeve and come back. Now we have something like this. It looks a little crazy. But all you're going to do is take your front pieces and make, put them out of the way so that you can form your sleeve. So there. I don't know if you can tell, but there's the sleeve. And then all we're going to do is sew down the sleeve and down the whole body on both sides. Okay, so I'm actually going to start at the bottom of the body, the sides of the body. I don't know these terminologies, sorry. But here is the bottom. You just want to line up everything as you go. Again, with mesh, it kind of sticks to itself. And then before you get to the parts where the sleeves are matching up, so the seams here at the armpit, I like to just hold them there so that I know that once I get there, they'll be matched up. And then anything else that happens before that point doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but I don't know if I'm making sense. What I mean is I really want these points to match up. Sorry, okay. So we're still going. And then once I get here, I just take the rest of the sleeve and kind of straighten it out. Since it does go out like this, I want to move it all over here and kind of create a straighter line with it. And match up the rest of the sleeve, and we're almost done. Okay. Now I'm going to take my bands or arm bands that I made. I'm going to take my little band and place it right sides together. And then just serge at the edge there. Sorry, I'm trimming it off now. So now all we're going to do is fold it in half. Like this. Sorry if I'm not in frame. I literally can't tell where my camera's pointing. I don't know why I'm struggling today. Okay, so then we're going to just fold it in half like this to create a little band. And we're going to attach it to the arm. So here's what one of the sleeves looks like. We're just going to place it inside and match up the points, the seams here. And then just make sure that when you're serging, you catch all 3 layers. And I'm just going to place it under here and start serging it. Again, you really want to make sure you're catching all 3 layers, so it's going to be a little tricky if you're using mesh. If you're using something else, it won't be as tricky. But, okay. And with this, it's okay if you cut stuff off. Once I complete the circle, I just serge off and tie off these little threads, but I'm going to do the same with the other side. Okay, I just finished the second one, so if you're wondering what it looks like, this is it. So now we're going to move on to finishing the rest of our duster. Okay, so now we are going to decide how we want to finish this duster. So I already turned it right side out. Let me shake it out a little bit so it's not, like I said, sticking to itself. So here it is with the sleeves all done and everything. So now, I don't know why my flashlight went on. But anyways, now what I'm going to do is measure from the bottom here all the way around up the neck to the other side. I'm going to take that measurement so that I can make a band for it. Just how we made a makeshift band for the arms, I'm going to do it to finish this off. Or you could actually serge it all the way around if you want to do that. I've seen a lot of people do that as well, but I'm going to make a band for mine just so it, I don't know, looks a little cleaner. And all I'm going to do to measure is, normally I would have my tape measure, but all I have is this elastic. So I'm going to measure, or I'm going to use this elastic to measure its all the way around, and then find out what that elastic measurement is. So I already did that prior to this video, and here's the elastic. And I would actually suggest starting a chart so you know how long to make your bands for each size if you're doing this method. But okay, so I'm going to take this elastic and measure the half point of it, which is about 23 inches, so I know that when I cut my band it'll be on the fold, and I like to add a little extra, so I'm actually going to do like 25. So now I'm going to take my mesh and I'm going to fold it over my cutting mat here. But essentially all I'm going to do is cut a band for it. So it's just going to be 25 inches by 3 inches. I like to make my bands thicker for this so that it lays nicely. So 3 inches by whatever measurement you took to make the band, and I'll be back. So now I'm going to take my super long band and I'm going to fold it in half with the right side out like this. And I'm going to place it at the bottom of one of my sides, so at the bottom. So this is my bottom of my duster, and I'm going to lay it here, right sides together with it, like this. And I'm going to just keep doing that for all the way around, like I said, up the body, down the back of the neck, and up all the way to the other side. So I'm just lining it up here. And I'm going to stretch it ever so slightly. That's why I said to make it a little longer, just so I had some wiggle room. But I'm going to stretch it ever so slightly just so that it lays nicely. So I'm going to start. And around there is when I'm going to start stretching it just a tiny bit, like not even a lot. And of course, we're going to have to adjust as we go. And if you notice that it's getting a little wavy, you can turn your differential up a little bit. Because it shouldn't be getting that wave effect. Especially with mesh, you aren't going to be able to iron it. So you don't want it to get wavy, but if you increase your differential, that should fix it. Anyways, I'm literally just gonna go all the way around, so I don't want to bore you with this part, but just keep going all the way to the other side. I made it to the other side, so I'm just gonna clip this off to be the same length as the actual duster, and I'll show you what that looks like. Hopefully you can see that, but here is the band. Sorry, there's a band all over the duster. Let me see if I can get a better view for y'all. Looks like this. It's really hard to show off mesh, but you could even make this band a little, what's it called? A little smaller, so if you don't like how thick the 3 inches looks, you can do 2 inches as well, just like the bands. But I like mine to be the thicker side. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to lay this so y'all can see it, but there it is. I don't know how else to show it off. Sorry, mesh is hard to show off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hem the bottom here. Again, if you didn't add the band and you just want to serge the whole thing, you can also serge the whole bottom. I'm going to straighten out the bottom of this here so that when I hem, it's just straightened. I'm also going to straighten out the other side. But anyways, if you don't want to hem it, again, you can just serge it, but I'm going to hem the bottom, and all I'm going to do is flip it 1/2 inch and go to my Coverstitch and hem it, or what you can do is use your sewing machine, a zigzag stitch to hem it. But again, I'm going to use my Coverstitch and then we'll be done. Okay, so I just finished the bottom and here's what that looks like. I just hemmed. I keep sucking at showing this off, sorry. I just finished the bottom by hemming it. This is what that looks like. I'm trying to show you. So it was just hemmed. So that is it. That is how I finished off my little duster. Again, you could have just serged it off, or you know, figured out your own way to finish it, or you could even do another band, to be honest. But here is the finished look. Okay, hope that was somewhat helpful, so catch you all in the next video.